Chamberlain Pike, the military commander and explorer for whom America's best-known mountain is named, never reached his peak, even though he tried. Over 200 years later, with a grin so giddy that I blame it on the thin air at 14,114 feet, I crested the summit of Pikes Peak a tick over 14 minutes after leaving the starting line. I was behind the wheel of the most fun-to-drive crossover anyone has ever built, the Porsche Macan GTS. I can't take credit for what must be one of the fastest unmodified sprints to the top. That goes to Pikes Peak legend Jeff Zwart, who led a pack of journalists in Porsche's latest Macan up the hugely demanding paved road. Zwart wasn't piloting a Macan GTS, instead, he was behind the wheel of the 911 GT2 he drove back in 2002 when much of the route was gravel. Today's pavement provides more grip but also less room for error, Zwart told us. Unforgiving, he called the mountain. That's just what you want to hear at 6:30 a.m. when Zwart, 2 cars in front of you, takes off at a racing start. Pressed later, Zwart admitted he drove at a fraction of his racing pace while juggling 2 radios, one to communicate with us and one for park rangers to alert him to wildlife on the road, and shifting a manual transmission. Strapped into a Macan GTS, however, I found the trip plenty stressful, but that's because of the blind corners, the narrow road, the frost-heaved pavement, the blinding sun, and, of course, those unforgiving drop-offs. The polished GTS, which slots in between the mainstream Macan S and the bonkers Macan Turbo, proved unflappable. Of the Macan flavors, which will soon include a 4-cylinder base model, the GTS is best suited to carving through the Rockies. Its 3.0-liter, twin-turbo V6 comes from the Macan S, but Porsche dials its boost from 14 to 17.4 pounds per square inch, bringing output to 360 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute, up 20, and 369 pound-feet of torque from 1,650 to 4,000 revolutions per minute, up 30. The only gearbox available is the PDK, Porsche Doppel-Colonne, 7-speed dual-clutch transmission with Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus modes. In addition to the power increase, the GTS gets a standard air suspension that sits 10 mm lower than the optional version for the S and the Turbo. Front brakes cribbed from the Turbo and a switchable Sport exhaust with a single flapper valve round out the performance changes. Add the air suspension, 20-inch alloy wheels, and a few cosmetic goodies standard on the GTS to an S, and what was a $12,800 price difference becomes a more palatable $5,000 disparity.